Shocking! Secret Mercedes F1 feature discovered. When we talk about F1, there is one team that we should always mention. That team is Mercedes. They have the most constructor championships. They also had a winning streak. And Lewis Hamilton won 7 world championships with Mercedes. We can tell by this that this is a team that has something else in them. We all had a lot of hope for this team. We thought that this season was going to be the season of Mercedes. But till now, all we have got is a disappointment. So why is this happening? What has gone so wrong with Mercedes? Well, if we talk about Mercedes before the start of the season, then we will see a totally different team. For the Bahrain testing session, each team was supposed to put large designs into their cars. Everyone flew to Bahrain with new parts in the first few races, and everyone was full of energy. But what did Mercedes bring? Red Bull's Helmut Marko indicated as much in a recent interview. It isn't precisely what they were planning on bringing, but it isn't what they will be. Mercedes has figured out a method to get by without side pods, or as they say, the belly is gone. Mercedes technical team leader James Allison may have devised a novel situation. According to Corriere dello Sports, the car was supposed to be nearly completely devoid of sides, the elimination of which would have necessitated an inventive but effective radiator arrangement at the highest region of the bodywork. The team also said that strong simulated performances and speed gains of up to 1 second in the first test in Barcelona. They actually ran with 2 different side pod designs, opting for a multi-geometry surface to begin with before trialing the louver side pods during the opening test. Perhaps they were just testing their options in Barcelona, but if the report is true, they were gaining a second lap by not having side pods. This report was looking very much true in the first Grand Prix. In Bahrain, Hamilton came 3rd and Russell came 4th. It was a great start for the Mercedes, but slowly things started to go sideways. We will discuss that in a while. By the way, when you guys saw the first race, what was your initial thought about it? I was really impressed by Ferrari and Leclerc. Coming back to topic, Mercedes. As we all know, this year's budget cap has been cut in order to prevent clubs with larger financial resources from dominating the sport. A budget cut implies that a team like Mercedes, which likes to break the rules, will want to make sure that any development money they do spend is used toward real-world gains. In other words, if they're paying a team of people to build and test an F1 car without side pods, they'll want that design to make it to the final race car. At the time, we didn't think that this budget cut would make much of a difference, but it made a huge difference. The FIA made this kind of change in the past too, just so the race could be fair. The FIA has already rejected design innovation for grounds other than breaching its own design rules. Colin Chapman, a Lotus engineer in the 1970s and 1980s, built a car with 2 chassis to circumvent regulation revisions near the conclusion of the ground effect era in 1981. The automobile was cutting edge, speedy, and pushed the boundaries of what was permissible under FIA standards. Colin Chapman took the FIA to court over the decision to ban the double chassis. The FIA said it was prohibited because it violated their design standards. Still, it was also said at the time that part of the rationale was because redesigning the vehicles would be too expensive for the other teams. I would say that it is really fair, but this fair shot has cost Mercedes a lot. Let's talk about the current Mercedes situation. They were quite alright till Spanish Grand Prix, but then Monaco happened. Before the race, when asked if there was a reason to be optimistic about another excellent result in Monaco, team chief Toto Wolff answered, "I wouldn't say so because we've been particularly off pace this weekend in the slow corners in the last sector due to overheating. That might be different in Monaco, but Monaco in the past wasn't our happy place. Maybe because the car was the size of an elephant. But I'd be curious to see where we are this weekend. We still struggle with the warm-up a little bit, so my expectations for Monaco are lower than on any other circuit. I'm not sure I can explain scientifically why that is, but it's going to be another learning point, at least to bring us into the game." After this interview, many thought he was crazy, but after the race, we are left to wonder whether he has a future sight or something like this. He was so accurate. If you are wondering why I'm saying that, then you just haven't seen the race. Both Mercedes cars battled for speed right away, but the W13's car problems weren't limited to a lack of grip in low and medium speed corners. The car was also experiencing extreme bouncing. It was looking more like a bouncy car rather than an F1 racing car. According to Lewis Hamilton, I kind of expected it. We weren't very good in low-speed sections in the last race anyway. In the race it was okay, but not on a single lap. So we anticipated it would be difficult here, but it's worse than we anticipated because of the bumps. It's just super bouncy for us everywhere. Slow, medium, and high speeds. Very challenging. Now, after this race, many fans are worried that it is happening again. Well, for those who don't know, before the Barcelona upgrade, the car was bouncing on the track, and it is one of the reasons why Mercedes was not able to perform its best in the races. According to Wolff, the issue before the Barcelona upgrade was because of an aerodynamic issue, and this one is quite different. But if they fixed the issue with aerodynamics, then why were we seeing the bouncing car in Monaco? Well, according to Wolff, the issue was with ride height and the stiffness of the suspensions. He said, "We haven't had porpoising returning. We are bottoming out. We were just hitting the ground in a very different way. The car is too stiff, too low, and it's just the same gap as it was in qualifying in Barcelona." The tight street track caused both drivers to feel excessively bounced around. Throughout each session, the crew experimented with different setups to make it more comfortable for the drivers. However, any alteration made to improve a driver's comfort would necessarily result in a reduction in the amount of downforce the car can create. With today's ground effect cars being more sensitive than ever before to changes in stiffness and ride height, it's logical to infer that whatever remedies Mercedes devised cost them some speed. With so much going on, Hamilton is hoping that the car feels better in the next race. According to Wolff, the car is just a minor issue. The major issue is that the 7-time world champion is facing bad luck. Wolff said, "No, I think when you look at the bad spells that Lewis had in the race today, stuck again contact with Esteban, stuck behind Fernando, the red flag in qualifying, and you know what has happened in races before, I think the pendulum will swing in, so those unlucky situations stop for Lewis. They're very much on the same pace. In one practice, one leads, then the other one. And that is great how they work together, because we need to get the car straight." I have to agree with Wolff. I am not saying that the car has no problem, but the narrow way was also a problem. In Monaco, there is not much space if you want to overtake, and this is what happened with Hamilton. What is your take on it? What was worse, the car or Hamilton's luck? Even Mercedes is aware that the car has issues, and maybe they will fix them in the next race. Even Hamilton praised that the car would feel better in the next race. So let's see what happens. Mercedes is still at number 3 in constructor standing, and there is still a long way to go. There are many races to go. This was all for today. Now you guys tell us what your thoughts are about Mercedes in the comments. I will see you in the next one.